Hello, everyone. Welcome to Superhero Kids Club. This is our YouTube channel. I'm Captain Aditi Samant. I'm the founder of Superhero Kids Club, and it is my mission to help a million parents raise their kids as resilient superheroes of their own lives. I'm a pilot, I'm a mother, I'm also a clinical psychologist and a life command coach. So, this is the last part of the three-part series. Are you a carpenter parent or are you a gardener parent? Now, in part one and two, we spoke about what is a carpenter parent and what is a gardener parent. A carpenter is basically somebody who works with dead wood, and a gardener is somebody who works with live, growing plants and nurturing them. So if you are the kind of parent who wants your child to do only what you want them to do, or you're trying to use your child to fulfill your unfulfilled dreams and to make the child into something that you see them as and not what they want to be, that is being a carpenter parent. Carpenter parenting was acceptable for many years. However, you will see, as why I want to talk about this mainly is because, as a therapist, I see a lot of people who are unhappy with their lives, unhappy with their professions, especially mostly unhappy with certain choices that they were forced to make because of the way their parents the way, because of what their parents expected out of them. Oh, you will only become a doctor, or oh, you will only become an engineer, you will only become this, you will only become that. The child may not want to be all of these things. The children are being forced, and unfortunately, there is a very high suicide rate in children who are in this transition period where they are required to pick their careers. And that's a very high rate of teenage suicides, because simply because they're being forced into professions or professional courses that they have absolutely no interest or aptitude for, simply because their parents want to mold them into certain kinds of professionals, or parents see that for themselves, for their kids, which they could not fulfill for themselves. You must remember, as a parent, your child is not you. Your child is not a clone of you. Your child is not a carbon copy of you. Your child may look like you, may talk like you, may think a little bit like you, but your child is a completely different and unique individual in their own right. And if you want your child to succeed in life, then you must be able to, as a parent, respect the individuality and the autonomy of your child in whoever they are and what they choose to be in life. Of course, it is important for you to guide them about right and wrong, or what is good for them, what is not. Many people do things that they want to do and then end up realizing that, I really have no talent for it, and struggle. However, as a parent, what I would personally do, and what I guide other parents to do, is nurture the child according to their own talents, according to what they are able to do. Even if children are wanting to do fad things just because their friends are doing, or just because it is the next cool thing to do, that doesn't mean that I don't guide them about the perils of this. But eventually, if that is what my child wants to do, then I support my child, and also equip my child with backups without forcing it on my child. So for every child and for every family, these challenges are often common amongst certain ages and groups of people, but they're also very unique depending on who your child is and what specific talents they have, or what specific challenges they have. So if you want to be a carpenter parent, then you are you're trying to sculpt them into something that you see, but not seeing who they want to be or who they really are. Whereas a gardener parent is essentially a parent who is nurturing the child, like a gardener nurtures a plant, and raising the child to be who they are meant to be. Like, you cannot plant a mango tree and expect strawberries to grow on it. You cannot have a child and expect them to be exactly the way you are. While a mango seed from a mango tree will only grow mangoes, but every mango will be different from the mangoes of the mango tree, right? So again, even if your child is similar to you, so my father is a pilot, and I'm a pilot. Nobody in my family is a psychologist, but the psychology was my first choice. It is who I became first. And then I became a pilot because my dad had been telling me for a long time to at least try it out. See, he never pressurized me. He never forced me to become a pilot. As I became a psychologist, as I started, becoming more and more confident, I decided to challenge myself and see whether my fears about flying were true or could I actually do it. And then I took it up as a challenge, and I realized I was good at it. I grew as a person, as a professional. My self-confidence, sense of self-worth, everything grew by leaps and bounds as I became a pilot, because there was a whole new world that I was able to handle. Although my father wanted me to become a pilot because that was his profession, his way of life, what he saw and what he thought was the best thing to do, he never forced me to do it. He respected my choice of becoming a psychologist. I chose to become a pilot, and I chose to continue to be a psychologist. And today I'm the only person in India that I know of who is both a psychologist and a pilot. That has opened up a completely new world for me in aviation psychology. So this is what you can do. You can guide them. You can do that for your children. You can encourage them. You can show them the way, but do not force them to do something just because you think that it is the right thing to do. So we saw the six out of the six. We saw the 4 ways of being a gardener parent. First one was the soil, providing them the right environment, the right family environment to rich in its nutrients to grow and to learn. The second was the water, which was the food and nourishment. Third was sunlight, exposure to knowledge and enlightening them and teaching them and allowing them to explore on their own. The fourth one that we saw was fertilizer, which is a little extra, extra classes, extra this, extra that, teaching them the little extra that is separate from academics. So education is not necessarily only academics, but not doing too much, like not making them do too many classes or too many programs that overwhelms them. Today we're going to talk about point number 5, which is pesticides. What is pesticides? Pesticides are what a gardener sprays on a plant to keep the weeds away, to keep the insects away, to so that it does not develop diseases. For your child, what is the pesticide that you are going to use? The most important thing that you're teaching your child to keep diseases away is discipline. Okay, now discipline is not the same as punishment. Let us get this clear. You do not discipline your child, because unfortunately discipline is a word that is often used in place of punishment. Many parents say, oh, I'm going to discipline my child. This child deserves disciplining. Discipline is teaching. Discipline is what comes way before punishment. And ideally, punishment should never be done. They should always be teaching and learning and growing together. Punishment is an extremely, extremely negative and damaging thing. Instead of punishment, there can be correction. And there will be a video about what to do instead of punishing, how to correct your child. For this video, we are going to talk about discipline, which is giving your child guidelines to live by so that they can learn to navigate this world with their full potential. So children need they need a set of rules to follow. Okay, like those are like guide lanes. Within the lane they can move, okay, but those are the guide lanes, and those are to keep them safe. When I make a rule for my child that you will not jump off the sofa, that is a rule that I make for the child. That rule is to keep my child safe. I do not punish my child if my child jumps from the sofa, but I explain why when I make the rule, and when I explain the rule, I explain the why of the rule as well. You know what? If you jump from this height, you're likely to fall, you're likely to hurt yourself. Now, would you like to be hurt? No. So if you want to jump, then I will teach you how to jump safely. Okay, so if your child is interested in experimenting or learning something new, because that is essentially why they do things, to learn something new for the thrill of it, you need to make a safe enough environment, a safe zone for your child to explore what they want to naturally explore. And that is also part of discipline. You create a safe zone for them and say, okay, this is the safe zone that you need to be within, and that is what will keep you safe. That is a rule to be followed, right? Remaining within the safe zone is a rule to follow. Stranger danger, do not talk to strangers, is a rule to follow. But at the same time, we tell our children, oh, why didn't you say hi to uncle? Why didn't you say hello to auntie? Give auntie a kiss, give auntie a hug. We do this. So we often break our own rules when the person we know is a stranger to the child but is our friend. We expect our children to be very polite and very nice, and then we teach them stranger danger. That causes confusion in our children. So even when you set rules, when you set boundaries, you need to set them very clearly, and your child needs to be able to understand that when is it okay to follow or not follow a rule, or that it is okay if they don't want to do something. For example, not hugging someone is something that they don't want to do, and it's okay. It will not invite any negative, any negative. You won't be disciplining them saying, why were you rude to uncle, why were you rude to auntie? That's not, you if you do that, then you break your own rules about stranger danger. So whenever you set your rules, be careful about what rules you set. Make sure that that you keep your child within a safe zone. Your child understands what is the safe zone. Your child understands the rules very clearly. And you know what, here's the thing, here's a little secret. Okay, your kid is not going to get it the first time. Yes, when you set a rule, your kid is not going to get it the first time. Okay, because their brains are still developing. So you will probably need to set a rule, re-explain, reiterate, keep on reminding them of it until they get it. And if you tell them a rule and they don't follow it the first time, that does not call for punishment. You want me to say that again? If you set a rule and your child doesn't follow it, that doesn't call for punishment. It calls for correction. It calls for retraining your child. Okay? It's like your child made a mistake and you need to retrain your child in maybe you were not clear. There's a possibility, right? That you were not clear in setting that rule, or you were not clear in explaining to your child exactly what was expected of the child. So you sit your child down and re-explain what you meant when you set the rule. Children by nature want your approval, want your love, want your connection. But anything that they do which disconnects you from them, they don't want to do it. They don't want to irritate you purposefully, unless they have gone on the other side and are rebelling or are trying to get your negative attention. Okay, but as such, we want our children to listen to us, and they want to listen to us. They want to cooperate with us, and because they want to cooperate with us, sometimes even if they don't understand the rules, it's important for us to keep on reiterating the rules until they get it. So how do we discipline our kids? First, by being disciplined ourselves. We are our children's first and greatest, most important role models. If we behave in a different way and have different rules for the child, it seems like, it's okay that mom can do this, or it's okay that dad can do this, but it's not okay if I do it. For example, if dad can watch TV all the time, like the news channel is on all the time, why do I not get to watch TV all the time? Now your child is not going to understand the difference between, you're a little young, your brain development, etc., etc. But if the child constantly is making comparison, if you are telling me to do this, why are you not following it? So whenever you set rules for a child, or whenever you try to discipline your child, make sure that you yourself are disciplined in that aspect, so that your child doesn't question you and you don't get embarrassed, or your child doesn't get confused. Why are there different rules for mom and why are there different rules for me? Kids learn less from what we tell them and more from what we do. That is the natural way that they develop. That is the natural way that even we develop. So we learned a lot more by watching our parents than being told. So to know more about why kids learn by observing us rather than rather than being told. We have a course on Superhero Kids Club, which is a course to that in part of which is the child development module, in which you will exactly understand at what age children develop what kind of behavior, how are they supposed to be at 2, how are they supposed to be at 3, how are they supposed to be at 4, 5, etc. So how you discipline them at those ages will also change. Now, the last point of this three-part series is weed removal. Now, what is weeds? Every gardener has to, along with giving good soil and fertilizer and water, has also got to see if any weeds are growing around the plant and to remove those weeds. What are weeds? Weeds are the negative influences on the plant that suck the nutrition out from the plant, and the plant doesn't grow very well. So what do weeds do to a plant? They are dangerous to the growth of the plant. So the gardener has to keep a watchful eye on the weeds. Now, our children, as they grow up, they will be surrounded by all kinds of influences, some very, very positive, some extremely negative, and some very neutral. Where do these influences come from? Other people, their peers, the parents of other kids, there are relatives, uncles, aunties, parents, other grandparents, our friends, their friends, school, people they meet on the playground, other adults, and our media, the TV, the programs that they watch, the things that they listen to. All of these play a vital role in the influence on your child. So as the child is very young, till your child is about 8 years old, 7, 8 years old, you are, as a parent, you are the greatest influence on the child. But as your child starts growing up, other influences often take precedence over what you are saying and doing, because there's they're very attractive. Maybe what you might be saying about discipline and self-control, etc., may not be as attractive as what is there outside. And that is what generally happens when children start listening to things that they trying to experiment with things that they see on TV or in the shows or on YouTube, or getting influenced by other people or the shows that they watch. Whatever they see, hear, and experience in their environment, that becomes a huge influence. Now, as a parent, you need to be able to keep a watch on what's going on. When they're very young, we keep a very strict monitoring of their environment. But as they grow up, they become independent, they become autonomous, they go out with their friends, they're at school, and we often don't know exactly what is happening at school, what their friends are doing, who are they being influenced by, how are they being influenced. So as they grow up, we are not able to keep a complete watch on all these things the way we were able to when they were kids. So what do you do? Very, very important is to teach them who are the weeds. We teach very young children who are the weeds in their lives. We teach them the difference between good influences and bad influences. As you interact with people, and as you interact with a lot of with the media, with whatever they watch, you should be able to point out, okay, you know what, this is not very nice, this is good behavior, this is not very nice. If someone does this to you, this is what you must do. So educating our kids on what is acceptable, what is unacceptable, educating our kids on their boundaries, okay, is extremely important. Educating our kids on what they can accept from other people and what they can't. While we teach them about stranger danger, we must also teach them about how to protect themselves. So weed removal is in early childhood. It is about keeping the negative influences away, educating the rest of the family members and other people on how not to bring negative influences on the child. But as the child grows up, your child needs to be educated on handling difficult situations themselves. This is something that we teach parents in our course on Superhero Kids Club. You can check it out. Send me a message on Facebook or Instagram, and we will get back to you with more details on the course. So this is this is something that I cannot talk about in detail on this video, but we address this issue very specifically on how your parent on how you as a parent can empower your child to say no to the negative influences and to turn towards positive influences in their life. So thank you very much for watching this series. If you have liked it, if you have any comments, please let me know. If there is anything that you would have liked to be addressed, please let me know. If there is anything that is bothering you and you need to talk about it, or you need any kind of help, please feel free to connect with us on Facebook Messenger or Instagram Messenger, and we will get back to you. Please like, subscribe, and share this information to as many parents as possible, such that they will get the information that could make that difference to them and their child. And it could just absolutely change the trajectory of their child's growth. You never know when you can make a positive difference to someone's life. So I urge you to please like, subscribe, and share this video with other people so that they get the benefit of it. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.